probably not even a week after having this plant, the Lord said, you're gonna learn from this plant. And I didn't really know exactly what that mean, but now I'm seeing those words, like everything just kind of come to pass. What's going on, everybody? Kirby back again with another video. Today, I want to start a new series called Plant Life Lessons. All right, so Plant Life Lessons is basically going to be me talking about things that I've learned from this plant, and I'm going to relate it back to life. All right, these are things that I've found over the past year of me having this plant that just changed my perspective on a lot of things, and it just made sense to me about certain things. Okay, so before I get into that, let me give you a background on why this plant is even here. So upon me getting my office and everything together, and plus me curating content, I was like, man, I need something to either be in a shot just to give some aesthetic looks, and something just to kind of feel the environment, the vibe of what I'm going for. So a plant I thought was something good, so I shout out to Home Depot, and this was just one of the plants of many that I saw that I felt like, man, that one right there, I gotta have it. So I got it, bought it, brought it back, took my picture with it, was excited to be a new plant owner for the first time. But probably not even a week after having this plant, the Lord said, you're gonna learn from this plant. And I didn't really know exactly what that mean, but now I'm seeing those words, like everything just kind of come to pass. So I've been learning so much from this plant since I've had it. But the first thing that I want to talk about in this series is about changing environments. Now, I'm sure Home Depot was doing exactly what it was supposed to do for this plant when it was in that environment. When it changed environments, the plant did not stop growing. And you probably say, okay, well, where are you getting at? What does this mean? What I'm trying to tell you is that sometimes there's going to be a time for you to change environments. It doesn't mean that the place that you left from was bad, or it doesn't mean that the place that you are currently at is a bad place. But sometimes there are seasons that come where you don't fit in that particular environment. Okay, that means that it was time for you to shift. It was time for you to change your environment a long time before that new season came. To give you an example, so this plant initially came from Home Depot, but during the winter time, Home Depot no longer housed these plants. Why? Because all of their plants are outside. This is not an outside plant. It's not good for the winter. It's going to die, and so forth and so forth. So it would need to change its environment in order for it to continue to grow, in order for it to continue to live and to be exactly what it is right now, right? It's still a living, growing plant, all right? So this plant changed its environment, which was basically me getting the plant and me pouring into the plant. So even though the winter came, it was in a different environment, in a different place where it was still able to grow. All right, nothing wrong with Home Depot. Home Depot served its purpose. There are certain places, certain people in your life that have served their purpose. And it's just time for you to change your environment. Now, when you change your environment, you need to make sure that you're changing your environment and going where people are going to continue to pour into you, where you're going to continue to grow. So even as seasons and things change, you're still growing. You don't become stale, you don't become irrelevant, you don't become where you feel like you don't have value, like you're still growing all throughout the seasons whenever they continue to change. And this is just one of the things that I want to present to you guys today of the life lessons that I learned from this plant. There are times, and I know we can all testify to this, where we've been in certain places, we were just there too long, all right? And you probably was like, man, I wasted time. But I don't want you to look at it as a wasted time. I just want you to say, you know what? It's time for me to change my environment. But as I change my environment, Father, lead me to people who are going to continue to pour in me, who are going to continue to help me to be exactly who I'm supposed to be, who are going to continue to help me grow. All right, and this is one of the things that I've seen right here from this very plant. Just because it changed its environment, it did not stop its growth. But one of the main reasons why it continued to grow, why it continued to do what it's supposed to do, is because it had someone who continued to care about it the way that it was supposed to care about it. So even during the winter seasons, this plant never went outside. When the spring and summertime began to come and the sun began to come back out, then I would take it outside. I would let it see the light that it needs. If it didn't get enough light, I would make sure it was getting water and things like that. Now, as it continued to grow, did it have some times where it seems like stuff was happening? We're gonna get into more of this in a different part. But yes, there was certain things that happened, but again, it still had someone that was willing to cut what was needed to be cut, to pour where pouring was needed, to nurture where nurture was needed, to give light where light was needed, so that it can continue to grow. So the main thing I want you to get out of this life lesson today is don't be afraid to change your environment. Just because you change your environment does not mean that your growth will stop. Sometimes your changing environments simply means that you've just outgrown and that the time and the place that you are right now, the time has just expired. And they have done all that they can do for you. That place has served the purpose that it has served for you. So don't be afraid to change your environment. That is the first plant life lesson of this series. Grace and peace. Peace and blessings. See you guys, part 2.